So let's get into this.
All right.
Well, I had all these questions that I was going to ask because I read that you grew up in a musical family. So I was going to ask like how you started there, but let's just get the elephant out of the room. How do you feel being nominated for your first Grammy?
Yeah, first one.
Okay, so what's going through your mind? How are you feeling right now?
A lot of things. I don't know. Every time this comes through and, you have an opportunity, like you have a record out, it's up for consideration, I try not to get too excited because you never know what's going to happen. So when we heard this morning, it was like, I don't know, it's just sort of surreal. It hasn't really sunk in yet. No, and, I feel it too. I've been getting texts all day. It's better than my birthday, I'll say that. Like, I've been getting texts all day. And I feel really wonderful. And I'm hopeful. And I'm thrilled. I'm really honored. Like, you work a long time. We've worked for a long time, both of us. And, little things come up with some promise. And it's like you get really excited about it. And then some of them work out, some don't. So it's just really nice when, something we worked so hard on, we're so proud of, has gotten that kind of recognition. It's really amazing.
It's wonderful. Yeah. Because you really do work hard. As a host on the New Orleans Music Show on WWOZ, I get a lot of CDs. I have a lot of people trying to get their music on the air. And, sometimes people go really hard for about a year, 2 years, and then where do they go, right? But I've watched you, I've heard you, I've heard people I've heard what they say about you, and I've heard just seen you grow throughout the years and not stopping. So I want to know, now that I have Jesse on the stage, what was it like for you two to work together? Like, how did this album, this project, how did it start?
Well, I think I've aged probably about 20 years trying to keep up with Samantha in the last, I'm so serious. I mean, this girl is on the move. She is working like around the clock. And, but we met when Samantha was young. I think she was like maybe 19 and opening this show that we played in Kansas City at Knuckleheads. And I was upstairs with my tour manager in the little backstage area, and I was like, "Who's playing the guitar?" And he goes, "You got to go downstairs and see this." So I went down, and it was Samantha. So it was kind of cool because I got to hear Samantha before I saw that it was a human being playing the guitar. And so anyway, she came into this show I was playing in New Orleans and said, "Hey, do you want to record some stuff together?" And it's just been on since then. Of course, we both have our solo acts. We both have to go back to reality at some point, and we're not going to, this isn't going to be a full-time thing, but it's, the public has spoken, and they like it. And, writing songs,
we started talking about this, a year and a half ago, and this was an idea of this kind of collaborative thing. I wanted to do a duets project for a while, and it was just like, I don't know, it was just something we'd kind of thrown into the ether for a few years, me and my manager, and we'd talk about it, but there was just, I couldn't really think of who that person would be, that partner. And then when I saw Jesse and this idea, it just came together, and you've been the perfect partner for this, and it just really worked out, And I'm really proud of that record. And bringing in John Spencer to be our producer, I think, really, he's like the third member of the band, even though he's not here. We haven't seen him since we made the record, but he's still here in spirit. And it was just a really cool experience. It's a piece of art.
It feels like it. Seeing you two perform together, listening to the record, it feels like family. Like, I could never see you guys getting into an argument. I could never see you guys bickering. I feel like all the musical ideas kind of went in. No, that's not how it went.
I don't think we've really ever argued.
We don't really argue. And you know why we don't argue is because I just say, whatever she says, I'll do that.
No, but we have a lot.
I'm kidding to a certain degree, but
we had a lot of respect coming into this. I mean, I think we were both so nervous to step on each other's toes at first. Like when we were in the studio, it's like, is this okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? How do you feel? And I mean, that's going away, I guess.
Yeah, it's going away. I mean, there's little things where we see how much each other really cares about it, and that kind of determines what decisions made. But you know, creatively, it's. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people. I know a lot of people in this blues kind of world don't know about my background, but I've worked with a lot of huge artists playing guitar for them, and Samantha is, by every stretch of the imagination, right up there with the Johnny Cashes and all the other big people that I've played with.
You better spread those flowers.
Yeah.
So I have one more question for both of you, and then I want to just, have my girls chat with Samantha. I want to know, Jesse, what is your favorite song on the album? Samantha, what is your favorite song on the album?
I think I like this ballad, You Know My Heart, because I wrote that song in the middle of the night, and I recorded it, and I was trying not to wake everybody up, so I just ridiculous little melody in the phone recorder, and I sent it to her, and I said, hey, if you don't like it, whatever. And then I forgot about it, and we got to the studio in New York like a few weeks later, and she was like, oh yeah, you know my heart. I'm like, what song's that? She goes, it's the first song we wrote together. And she put this really cool Wild Horses or Angie kind of Stones, Rolling Stones thing at the beginning, which if you do that to me, you've got me hooked because I'm a giant Rolling Stones fan. And so she put this little Angie hook at the beginning that was really different and really that was the first song we wrote together. So.
Do you agree?
I mean, I like that one.
Okay, we can move on.
No, it changes. It changes every day. I mean, we play these songs every day, and so today my favorite song is Super Duper Bad.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
That's my favorite one today. Right. It's just, but I like Death Wish because that was something we really collaborated on, and Riders was another cool, and we finished some of those in the studio. Like Riders, like we went in there and we started working, and I mean, honestly, this whole journey has been kind of by the seat of our pants. Like we got together in May and decided, okay, we're gonna do it, and it's like, when do you want us to go in the studio? I think they were like August.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if you write songs, that's really not a lot of time to do that. So Jesse and I worked really, really hard, and we sent each other stuff every day, and we just chipped away at it. But once we got into the studio and got through that first that first day where you're like, is everything gonna work? Is it gonna work? And we knew it was gonna work, and then it was just like this cloud kind of lifted, and we're like super inspired, and we ended up writing like 2 or 3 more songs in the studio, finishing them. Riders was one of them, and honestly, it's a barn burner. It's so fun to play.
Yeah,
it's us,
it is.
Yeah,
we actually slept at the studio.
Yeah.
We did. We lived at the studio, and we were there for, I think, we recorded the record in 10 days, and we did it for any of you gear nerds out there. We did it live to tape.
Yeah.
We didn't do Pro Tools and all that stuff. We did it old school way, where the band is all in the room.
Matt back there, he appreciates.
Yeah, we're going to tape and not digital, which eventually it all becomes digitized. But
yeah, of course.
Wonderful. Well, Jesse, do you mind if I have girl chat?
Oh, by all means. Hey guys, thanks for
you know how I do it. You give me a hug.
Yeah. I'll see you later.
I just feel like Jimmy Fallon or Oprah or something.
I know, it feels
cool.
right?
It's so cool. Okay,
It's my first talk show, by the way.
So a lot of us talk about your singing, but I want to speak about you as a guitarist in an industry, in an arena where we don't really see a lot of prominent women being pushed up, and you're really taking charge of that. What has this journey of being a musician, not just a singer and a songwriter, but being a musician on guitar been for you?
It's been interesting, you know. I mean, from being like a teenager, picking it up and going out to local jams, and you know, just kind of seeing how people would react. It's been a double-edged sword. I mean, we're talking about the fact that I'm a woman playing guitar. You know, it's been something that people have found intriguing, but also have been dismissive about it. But yet they still want to see a girl play the guitar because for whatever reason that's an anomaly. But then, you know, on the other, there's just flip sides. You know, there's so many. I've always just tried to find my path and get to the point where I was as good at it as I could be, and I've worked hard on the guitar, and I take it, yeah. I mean, I take it seriously. I try to find my voice. You know, really, I just tried to find what made me unique, and as a player, and just keep rolling with that and find that. But I tried, you know, just keep working at it. I don't know.
In the beginning, who are the people that you listened to? Who are the musicians that influenced you? I want to go on that journey. Like, who did you first start listening to?
Well, I got into, when I picked up the guitar, it was like I had the radio. You guys remember that, the radio? And, you know, really where you'd hear guitar solos was on country radio or classic rock. So, of course, I found myself trying to pick apart these solos. And then I was like, well, who did this guy Keith Richards like to listen to? And then you go down this rabbit hole and start finding everybody listened to the blues. And that's where it all comes from. And so I just started going to the record store. You guys remember those too? And I was just picking up random CDs and finding stuff, and I started realizing, I really like R.L. Burnside. I really like Junior Kimbrough and this North Mississippi sound. I love Delta blues, and I got, I went all the way, back to finding Skip James, and and I don't know. I just I listened to as much as I could, and I tried to figure out different styles of guitar picking and playing, and but I was heavily influenced by a lot of blues guitar players. I mean, Freddie King is a big one for me. Big one. Yeah, you can clap for Freddie King.
Clap for Freddie.
Hubert Sumlin, Charlie Patton, just so on. Keep on going. I liked...
you shout them out. We want to give them flowers, and, because I think it's so wonderful when I hear you play. I do hear these influences, but I just hear your unique sound.
Thank you. Well, I got into North Mississippi kind of style music too. Fat Possum Records and their roster, and that's how I found John Spencer, working with R.L. Burnside. But I was into Jesse May Hemphill and Junior Kimbrough and all of that, and my favorite guitar players are just really melodic and try to tell a story off of a simple melody and then build upon it and build upon it and build upon it, and then you come back, at the end of the solo or whatever to this idea, and it just kind of brings it to this climax, But my favorite guitar players are, amazing at that, and it's all about building off a melody, and, flashy stuff is fun, but it's all about melody. Can you sing to it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
An emotion.
Yeah, it's about emotion.
All right, so originally you're from...
Kansas City.
Okay, Kansas City.
Go Chiefs.
Because you're a New Orleans girl now.
Sorry,
you're a New Orleans girl now.
I know, but I had to say it. Go Chiefs.
How does it feel to be a New Orleans musician? How does it feel making that transition from Kansas City to the Big Easy?
I love New Orleans. I mean, there's a reason why I came to New Orleans. At the time, it was like the logistics of it all worked out, but I really felt this soul calling to come to New Orleans. I just, and I didn't know how the city would embrace me. But honestly, I have felt nothing but love there. Like, people are just incredible, and the music community is incredible. And I've been, I feel like I've been embraced. And, I love Kansas City. That's where I'm from. That's where I'm always going to have been from. But I love New Orleans. I'm really proud to be a resident there, and I'm proud to, go out and say that's where I'm at, and that's where I chose to be, and, I champion it as much as I can.
We love you too.
Yeah, I love it.
So I want to get into your process of writing, making music. Do you have one way of writing? Do you start off with a melody? Do you say, I'm going to sit down and write a song? Are you sketching while you're sitting in the backseat of a car? Paint a picture.
I wish I had one way of doing it, because then it'd be consistent. But it's not. It's chaos. But that's the beauty of it. You try to find just try to find something in a different method, different approach, because sometimes you stall out trying the same approaches over and over again. But my most successful songs, I think, start with a melody idea. Like, I'll just hear it, the hook, or hopefully it's a hook. You got to start with a hook, because that's the hardest thing to write. I've tried it backwards. I've written pages and pages of poetry and stories, and it's great, but then you get to the hard part, the memorable part, and it's like nothing, So for me, if you can start with this core idea and then build off of it, and, sometimes it doesn't have to be completely autobiographical either, I'm not always telling my story, but I might have a good hook, and it's like, okay, well, let's write a story about this, let's expand upon it. And I think that's my most successful way of approaching songs. And if I'm struggling to find those melodies and those things that appeal to me, I'll sit down and, maybe try a drop tuning on a guitar. Sometimes that sparks something, of playing the regular standard tuning is just like, I'll sit there and play the same things and not have anything new come to me. If you drop it down to another tuning, sometimes that'll do something. You're like, oh, wow, here's something different. Just trying different things, Yeah.
All right, let's talk about your style.
Okay.
What y'all think about Miss Samantha's style? So some people can get on stage and play in t-shirt and jeans, but you're not that kind of lady.
I used to be.
Okay, so
There's
what was
been
the
an
evolution?
As well, along with the music evolution, there's
about it.
a style evolution. I actually like to think conceptually about records and change my style with the album. That's so fun. Yes. And it's an excuse to spend money, is what it is. But, I don't know. Things have just changed over the years. I used to come out when I was like 19, and again, I kind of talk about this double-edged sword of being a woman playing guitar and wanting people so bad to take me seriously, and I don't want them to think I'm trying to trade on something, so I'd show up like a tomboy. I'd dress in Chuck Taylors and big baggy T-shirts. We've changed a lot.
Samantha,
Back and forth.
I did the same thing
Yeah.
working in the studio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, because
you want to be attractive.
you don't want people to think, God knows what they think it anyway. It doesn't matter. They think it no matter what. That's what I had to come to terms with, was like, all right, they're going to think whatever they want. I just have to be, I'm just going to be me. And and I'm allowed to change. I'm allowed to evolve, just because I have people come up to me all the time like, oh, I loved it when you had long hair and wore 6-inch heels and mini dresses. And it's like, thank you. I appreciate that. But also, I've changed, and that's okay,
That's okay.
But I don't know. I'm so into fashion. I think clothing and fashion is art. So for me, it's just another part. It's another piece of the presentation, the art, the entertainment,
Yes.
show business, baby.
That's why you're my friend.
And
So
I
now-
love buying stuff.
We still have to go shopping. Yeah. Okay, so speaking of people coming up to you and remembering how you used to look and still holding on to that, what does it feel like knowing that you're an inspiration to people? Like, do you feel pressure to be a certain way? Like, is that heavy? Is that light?
Sometimes it's on my mind. Sometimes I forget that. You go into your life and you get tunnel vision. And, I have to all the time just be like, hey, take a step back and look at how far you've come and, be grateful, have gratitude. Because I know, like, it's weird to think about for me because I look up to people. And so when I have people come to the show and they're like, oh, I admire you, I look up to you, you inspire me, it is heavy, you've got a little responsibility there, but I just try to be myself and, hopefully that works. Hopefully it works.
What's he gonna do?
Yeah, of course.
Right. There's so many other things I want to ask you, but
Go for it.
do we go deeper?
If you want. Now you're scaring me.
No, don't be scared.
Okay.
Well, I just think all the words that you're saying, I can relate to it. I think there's just a certain level of success that you acquire when you're in this industry, and what comes with that, a lot of people don't tell you.
Yeah.
And so just like being level-headed and grounded, I think is so important, and you're
Yeah.
saying it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, because nobody tells you, right, when you've gotten more popular. Like how did you know you were famous? Like, Do you think you're famous now?
No.
Okay.
I am. Oh, I don't. But then when I go to the grocery store, the CVS in New Orleans.
That's why you need that sign on the back, Grammy nominated.
See, then it won't become a Grammy win if I do that. So
Oh, you're
I
right,
have to
right,
be quiet
the
about
winner.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Hush, hush, hush.
Yeah, but like, do you feel famous? Like, do you realize that everybody or a lot of people just respect you and love your music?
Like I said, you get tunnel vision. I think about the show a lot. You know, I don't really think about, you know, sometimes you'll see social media and you're like, oh, wow, people are, like, there's like a 500 comment thread talking about how they hated my shoes. That's pretty cool. Or something, you know what I mean? Or something crazy. And you're like, well, that's interesting. But we just kind of go back to the work, and it's like we're grinding out there. We're touring, and, you know, every time I walk on stage and it's like a full place, I'm like, oh yeah, holy shit, this is really cool, you know? But there's so much work that goes into it that it's a little, I don't think about it that often, but yeah. I'm very grateful for it. Like, I just want to reach people with my music. I want to give people the feeling that I had, you know, when I first started going to see live music, because there's something really moving about it, and there's something that really makes you feel deeply connected to something, like somebody understands your heart. And that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm trying to do. And, you know, and it's great when people show up. It's nice. When they don't, you're like, oh, that's, okay. Well.
She's so sweet. You do it from your heart, and I love it.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask one more question, and then I want you to think about some questions you may have. I think I have time for about 2 or 3. Yeah? So, your family. I feel like it means a lot to you. Growing up, I just want to understand, like, did you grow up in a musical family? Like, how important has your family been with your growth?
Well, you know, you never know what the impact is until later when you see how other people are, you know, came up. And, you know, my dad played guitar when I was a kid. It was something, you know, he'd go into the basement and plug in his Kramer guitar. It's some solid state piece of trash, and turn it up as loud as possible, and he'd just be down there jamming, and I was like, that's cool. And, you know, my mom sang in church. All my aunts sang in church. All my dad's friends would play guitar. They'd come over on weekends, which, you know, and it was kind of, this is probably what got me into it in a way, was the party would start when they'd pull out the guitars, and then they'd be like, all right, kids, off to bed, you're done. And it wasn't just guitars they were pulling out. I know that now, but
okay, I was gonna say.
But I was like, well, you know, maybe if I figure out something here, I'll get to be included in this adult party. Aww. And so I started kind of, you know, I picked up the guitar and I played songs for him, and then, yeah, I was invited to these parties. And honestly, it totally shaped me. I mean, again, you don't think about that much, but, you know, my best friend, you know, her parents didn't play or sing, you know, so it's like she didn't end up playing music. So that was a big thing for me. You know, my sister's an accomplished musician as well. She's a great singer, great musician, and I think the Fishes got skills somehow, some way.
Fishes have skills.
I'm not trying to be.
And now the Grammy-nominated Fishes.
Well, I'm not saying me. I'm just saying, like, the generation of Fishes. I know I come from a long line of singers, you know.
Does anyone have any? Okay,
Oh.
So I saw 1, then I saw 2, then I saw 3. Okay. Shoot. All right, we're going to take, and let's see if we have some more time. We'll come back to you, okay? All right, let's start.
Thanks. Thank you.
What's next?
Oh, God.
Studio album? Are we going to get that live album
Well,
waiting for?
we're working on it. We're working on it. The live record. I know you guys want it. Or maybe not you guys, but the people on the internet. I'm working on it. I think, you know, there's more to it than just, like, putting something out. You know, there's paperwork, Steve. And they're working on the paperwork. And I think the live album's hopefully going to come out next year, and then I'll be doing another studio album. And I've got ideas, but it's not worth talking about yet until something cool comes out of it. So, yeah, but you know, there's just going to be more music, more of a journey, more, you know, more of this.
All right.
Hey. What was it like when you got the call from Eric Clapton? Oh, God. Okay, so this is funny. We get an email, and it was, it's from a really funny email address, and I'm not going to say it, but it doesn't seem like that would be Eric Clapton's email address. It's funnier if I could tell you, but I can't, because then you guys will email him. But let's just say, so it came to Ruben, my manager, and it said, hey, would Samantha be interested in playing Crosswords 2024? And he calls me, and he goes, I think this is not real, you know, because it doesn't look real, you know, like, he's not really emailing us directly. I mean, surely there's like a team that's doing that, but he just responded with, yeah, okay, let's do it. And he's like, cool, management's going to reach out. And it was just like that. I guess that's just how they do it. And I don't know, it was really cool. I mean, that whole experience was like pretty stunning. I have always wanted to do that. I saw that DVD probably like everybody else, the Crossroads, I think it was 2010. And I remember thinking like, I was watching it on my first tour when I'd gone to Germany with the Girls with Guitars. And it was like, I'm sitting in a little crazy hotel room in Germany, and I was watching that DVD, and I was like, God, I would love to do that. So I remember that moment because it's like when we got that call, it was such a big deal for me, you know. Pretty mega guitar players. Oh, thank you. It was pretty special. Yeah.
Are you next?
Hi. Yeah. No, I don't.
Cigar Box Guitar,
Okay.
which is so awesome. When you come out with that, it's like very.
Aw. Well, thanks. So, do you want to know, like, if I learned my lesson about the fringe? No. Because you know why?
Go to the burlesque show with
The fringe is fabulous, and I will always try to make that work. You know, I'm committed to it. I'm gonna try and make it work. Now, there have been things that have totally gotten in the way and not worked at all. You know, if it ever like affects the playing, then you have to consider, okay, do we need this in our lives? You know, but I'll work it out. You know, that was a new top, so I understand your concern. Give me some time. Second thing, Cigar Box Guitar. What do you want to know about it? Well, thanks. It is a piece of shit. I'm sorry. So that guitar, it's funny because it became a thing. So when I was like 17 years old, my dad took me down to Helena, Arkansas to the King Biscuit Blues Festival. And if any of you have ever gone to that festival, you know, they've got a great main stage with wonderful acts, but what's really, really cool is the midway behind it with all the food vendors and the craftspeople and all the artists playing on the street. That's super cool. And I saw so many of these guys playing these, like, you know, weird sounding guitars. Like they're small, they're cute, but they sound like chainsaws. And so I don't know, I just remembered that, and years later we had gotten hired to play the main stage, like, you know, full circle, and I saw a man selling them right back there on the midway, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna get one just to kind of, you know, just to take home, just to remember this moment. It's pretty cool for me. And I plugged it in at my local gig. I had a weekly gig at BB's Lawn Side in Kansas City, and I plugged it in, and I have not been able to not use it ever since because people love the sound of it, you know? But people give me, like, I've been gifted some really beautiful Cigar Box guitars, but I play mine because it sounds like the way I want it to sound. It will. Someday it will. It's not gonna live forever. It's more duct tape at this point than it is Cigar Box guitar. It really is.
It's a new line.
Yeah. No.
All right, we have our question up here.
Uh-huh. Yes. I do a G tuning. So, like, are you a guitar player? So you know how you drop, it's D, G, D, G, B, D. You drop the top and the bottom Ds, the middle 4. Make a chord. It's easy as that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of a lot of, of all their albums, but I'd say my favorite's probably Sticky Fingers. I think that one's pretty amazing. It's like perfect top to bottom. There you go.
And we have our young lady in the front.
Oh. Oh, thank you. I didn't write it, but no, that's it. But thank you. That's a Townes Van Zandt song, and it touched my heart too. That's why I wanted to cover it. It's a beautiful song. Townes Van Zandt, I'll Be Here in the Morning. Jesse and I covered that one. It's a beautiful song. Yeah.
We have time for one more question. Okay, I saw you.
Oh, why do I use so many of them? Because they all sound different. They do. They all have different tones. They all have different personalities. And, sometimes I don't have a dedicated guitar for specific songs. I mean, the guitar I'm most comfortable on, I think, is obviously the SG. I really like that one. But I like to switch things up because why not? And when I do my live show in the States, when we have the bus and we can bring everything, I usually have like 8 or 9, 10 guitars out on the road. So, but they all have different tones, personalities. They feel different. So like certain songs might be easier to play on another guitar, or it might lend themselves better. And also, you guys like the guitar rodeo. You do.
Well, listen, I know Samantha has 1,000,001 things to do before we all disembark tomorrow. I have one last question, though,
Okay.
and this is yes or no. When you win the Grammy, will you come back on the Big Easy Cruise and perform for the family?
Yes, of course. If you have me.
You heard it here first, y'all. We on video. Y'all give it up for Grammy-nominated Samantha Fish, y'all.
Crazy.